Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful time participating in the Summer Festivities event. I know I sure had a really wonderful time with it. I thought this was a very creative event. I liked that we could all come together and work towards this common goal, completing these overtime goals. I'm so impressed that we were able to get that far. But now the event has come to a close, and it looks like Fantasia and Lilia have a message for us. World Hopper, we can't thank you enough. You've helped us out so much in such a short time. We have more than enough supplies to entertain the whole town. I'm putting the finishing touches on the decor using all your parchment and silk ribbons, and we're setting out all the refreshments you brought at a dedicated stall. The embers are glowing brighter than ever thanks to your world-hopping magic. We should have enough food to feed your herd of newly animated pets, too, haha. I hope you're ready for a lovely night full of music and fun. Come and see me in Louise Hill when you're ready. Oh, okay. So there is kind of like a continuation of the story here. So you can kind of see I ended at gold tier. I would have had actually more points than this, but I kind of gave up halfway through yesterday because I knew I wasn't going to make it to 30,000. So rather than use a lot of my resources just to try to get to 30,000, I knew I wasn't going to make it. So this was my final score, 24,755 points. I am a little disappointed that after all of those connection issues, they didn't decide to extend the event another day or kind of give us like some bonus points or something, because I thought it was really amazing that they extended the event. I even made a video about how they extended the event, and then for basically half of Wednesday and a little bit of Thursday morning, you couldn't even get on the site and play, really. So it's almost like they extended the event, but only by about 12 hours. So I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, but I did wish they kind of like, I don't know, gave everyone an extra 2k points or something like that to kind of make up for the time lost, because I really do feel like there was some time lost there. But I'm very excited that I finished at gold tier, so that means I'll be receiving all of these overtime prizes and everything in this tier. I'm very excited to see what these items look like on my character. Let's go ahead and click this view rewards button. Oh yes, okay. So we got a summer picnic basket, a summer leaf belt, summer sun hat, summer long hair, summer sandals, summer short hair, summer toga, a shimmering ember totem, summer wildflowers, summer tied shirt, and a vibrant ember totem, and 20,000 potatoes, which is awesome, and the gold summer trophy. That's so cute. Love that. On the news page, it talks about the summer event conclusion, and it says, "Congratulations on completing our first major event. Thanks to all your hard work, we were able to collectively make Lilia and Fantasia's summer celebration possible." Ooh, and then it shows some data from the event. Wow. Okay, so look at this. Actually, the majority of players fell under the participant tier. And then the second highest number was in the elite tier. So it's almost like you had people that just participated a little bit or went super hard and took this very seriously, worked their butts off, and got to the elite tier. I'm in the gold tier, and that's only 13% of players, so that's actually kind of really surprising to me. But that's really awesome that a third of the participants were able to reach the elite tier. That's really awesome. Total points earned by the top 20 highest scores, almost 1 million. Wow. The community completed a total of 2,013,503 tasks. Wow. I mean, this has been really fun. I'm very excited to see what Lilia and Fantasia have to say about the close of this event. So let's go ahead and click on this seasonal quest. Lilia is setting out a stack of cups and plates on a picnic table when you return to the festival grounds, making sure to smooth out the tablecloth as she goes. She notices your approach and waves. Welcome back. Thanks for all of your help. I think we really managed to prepare well. What do you think? You take a look around, and sure enough, the fruits of your labor are apparent. A crowd of your recently hatched pets are gathered around the snack stall, which is piled high with neatly organized mountains of various food items with an emphasis on cone cakes. Hey, I wonder, I wonder if it knows that I gave mostly cone cakes, and if this changes depending on what you gave a lot of. I basically gave a lot of the sea forage cakes and a lot of cone cakes because that's what I had a lot of extras of in my inventory, so those are the ones I used. Festoons of ribbon and decoratively shaped parchment from your recipe scrolls are dangling across lengths of string over your head, all in various flame-like shapes. Embers hang in the air around you, slowly rising and falling. Some of Lilia's training dummies have been repurposed and dressed up in fiery silks. There's also an empty stage and an area with some games set up, complete with darts and archery station, ember catching, and a series of shallow wooden pools for kids to splash in. Oh gosh, am I going to say everything looks lovely, wow you went all out, or grab a cone cake to snack on? I think I'm going to say everything looks lovely. Thank you, I'm so glad you approve of what we've done with your donations. We couldn't have made it so nice without your help. We spread the word all around the town, so I think people should start arriving soon. Ah, Fantasia, the World Hopper is back. Fantasia ambles up to Lilia and waves at you. They have a leafy necklace on and a summer flower pinned to their eye patch. Hello, are you ready for the festival? We've been working hard to prepare. Well, Lilia especially. She's very excited about it. I'm a bit nervous about it now that it's so close. The anticipation might be getting to me. I hope nothing goes wrong, like Calbit knocking over the snack table or something. I'm gonna say Calbit wouldn't waste snacks. You're right, and even accidents will eventually become funny anecdotes, right? I agree. I have plenty of anecdotes from our first picnics together. Lilia blushes and engages Fantasia in a light-hearted argument about their past outings. Before you know it, the festival grounds start to fill up with people meandering in. The pair run off to greet everyone and leave you to your own devices. You wander around the festival grounds, listening in on various conversations, mostly about the challenges of preparing for the harvest and staying hydrated in the summer heat. A familiar voice is booming nearby about the best farming tools, and you turn to see the old farmhand with a group of local farmers all nodding along. Bernard appears to be dozing off on a stool by the play pools. Before you can make your way over, however, a slap on your shoulder makes you turn around. Is it Calbit? I'll say, you startled me. World Hopper, you're here too, huh? I heard about all the free snacks and fun. There's no way I would miss a whole festival. I bet I'll be the best at that dart throwing game. You just wait. Before you can respond, Calbit's ears perk up at something in the games area and he rushes through a quick goodbye. I'll see you later. I need to go prove my coolness now. Those kids won't know what hit them. As you watch him bound away, you notice Booley passing by with turnip cake in hand. Say hello. World Hopper, I see you're here to look over your handiwork, huh? I only came because you've been coming by and talking about it so often. These embers are somewhat interesting though. Did you cause them to flare like this? You look around at the embers again, and now that you think about it, they do seem to be brighter now than they were before Lilia and Fantasia asked you to help with the festival. I guess I did do this somehow. Well, keep up the good work. Maybe you'll make something truly huge happen, and then I'll have an additional thing to study. Now go pester someone else. I'm busy with this turnip cake. Return to Lilia and Fantasia. You decide to make your way back to Lilia and Fantasia, stopping occasionally to admire the festival and let yourself get distracted by the merriment. The local tavern's bard troupe appears to have stationed themselves around the stage, performing merry little ditties and livening up the atmosphere. A few townsfolk from the outskirts of town even start dancing, with more people joining in. Dusk has fallen by now, but the festival is lit well by the twinkling embers, which are burning as brightly as ever. Suspended in the air, they look like tiny lanterns amid all the ribbons and decor. You notice Lilia quietly seated on a stool by the refreshment stand, sipping a cup of cider. I'm gonna say, the festival is going well, huh? Everything's great. I'm glad everyone's having fun. Lilia beams at you, then hesitates before continuing. Do you know where I got the idea for this festival? I actually read about it in a book. Well, I read about a deity of flame that can manifest in the form of embers every year in the summertime. You know, as a child, I always thought these fairy tales were just stories, but these embers are real, aren't they? I haven't ever seen them appear like this, even during the hottest months of my childhood. I thought to myself, at the time, this must be a sign. The deity of flame is known for her warmth and vibrancy. I thought that perhaps it's telling me that I should do something for this town and its people, or something like that. I decorated the festival with a flame motif using all your parchment too. I really tried my best. Well, are you ready for the main event? What main event? I may have gotten ahead of myself and forgotten to tell you. I read about a lovely sounding celebration in the book about the fire deity, and the highlight of the event was a fire dance. You watch Lilia's eyes light up as she describes the dance to you. There are instructions and drawings in the book on how to do it, and they look interestingly similar to my lance practice techniques. I figured that since I'm already practiced at this, I could do this fire dance as the highlight of our festival here. What do you think? Ooh, I'm gonna say, that sounds amazing. I was also wondering if you'd be willing to do one last bit of World Hopper magic. The embers seem to grow especially bright for a short time after this occurs, so it would be really lovely if you could do it in preparation for my dance. I absolutely understand if you don't want to, though. I've already asked so much of your help. Ooh, you know what? I actually do have a plump turnip ready to hatch, so I'm gonna say I think I can hatch a pet to power up the embers. Thank you so much. This really means a lot. Hatch one pet to brighten the embers for Lilia. I'll be back. Alright, conveniently, I have a plump turnip ready to hatch. When you return, Lilia appears to be getting ready behind the refreshment stall. I've hatched a pet. Thank you so much. I can see the embers getting brighter already. They look so lovely under the moonlight. Ah, this is my fire dance costume. I made it with Fantasia through trial and error. I hope it holds together well during the dance. Lilia's costume is a silky red cloak and dress cut haphazardly into the shape of flames, sewn into layers over her armor. Despite the clumsy craftsmanship, it glitters in the ember light. Fantasia smiles at Lilia encouragingly as she makes her way up to the stage. You both watch in anticipation. Lilia steps up to the middle of the stage and motions to the bard troupe. They start to play a particularly festive and dramatic song. She strikes an opening pose, arm outstretched as if holding a lance or spear, and spins with a flourish. The dance begins. It does look remarkably like her usual lance training moves, except that the movements are timed well to the music. Her fiery costume fans out in waves, looking almost like real flames lit by the brightly glowing embers around her. The festival goers gradually gather to watch the performance as the song goes on. You notice Bernard and Calbit in the crowd. Calbit is clapping along to the drums and Bernard seems to finally be awake and alert. Fantasia is watching spellbound, their eyes glittering with a combination of pride and admiration. They're even making small movements with their hands and feet in time to Lilia's dancing. It seems like the two of them practiced it together. The song rises to a crescendo, with Lilia making a series of quick arm movements and leaping into the air in an arc. The embers appear to almost shiver in the air as they brighten around her. Now where did she learn that? You turn to see the old farmhand behind you, a look of consternation across his face as he looks on. Before you can ask what he means, however, a bright light makes you look back to the stage. The embers around Lilia have suddenly grown in size and brightness to envelop the whole stage in a bright light, the glow intensifying until you can't make out what's happening on the stage anymore. Lilia's form melts into the brightness. The crowd closest to the stage backs away, shielding their eyes. The bard troupe stops playing in confusion. The festival has broken out into a hubbub of chaos. Fantasia cries out in alarm. Uh-oh. Lilia, what's happened? Are the embers... Oh no. I'm gonna ask farmhand what's happening, because he kinda seems to know. You turn around to ask the old farmhand to explain himself, but you only see his back as he hurries off, muttering under his breath. Okay, let's rush to the stage. Fantasia is stunned for a moment and then snaps out of it and starts hurriedly to the stage. You follow close behind them, trying to squint past the intense lights. The closer you get to the stage, the more the air feels thick, like wading through a resistant current. By the time you manage to get on the stage, the air is so thick that you can barely breathe. Trying to see where Lilia should be feels like looking into the sun. Fantasia presses forward beside you, clearly in a state of desperation. Then you see her, sitting cross-legged in a sphere of light, eyes closed, unaware of her surroundings. Fantasia tries to call out for her, but no sound escapes their mouth. You find that there seems to be an invisible barrier surrounding Lilia, stopping the both of you in your tracks. Like a gust of hot wind, the current becomes too strong and you're knocked back off stage, landing on the soft grass. Fantasia is visibly shaken beside you. Are you okay? Fantasia is staring in stunned silence, unable to articulate their thoughts. After a few moments, they turn their attention to you and faintly ask, "Are you okay? We fell pretty far." "I'm okay." "That's good." Fantasia answers distractedly, grappling with themselves mentally now, making anguished sighs as they deliberate. I'm going to watch the stage for any signs of movement. You wait patiently for Fantasia to work through the initial shock. After a few minutes, they get back on their feet and help you up. Their expression is filled with a quiet resolve. "World Hopper, I'm going to find out what this is all about. I hope you'll join me." "Of course." Thank you. I'm glad you'll be by my side. The festival begins to clear out as the confusion settles. The townsfolk are concerned and discussion surrounding the event bustles. After seeing the last of them go, you find Fantasia sitting as close to the stage as they can, deep in thought. Lilia's light has now converged into a more concentrated sphere, her form vaguely visible within it. What do you think we should do now? I think we need to find out why this happened to understand how we can get Lilia back to normal. I heard the old farmhand. I think he knows something. Fantasia listens intently as you explain what the old farmhand asked just as the dance was ending and how he hurriedly left afterwards. That does sound like he might know something. I think most of us are aware, or at least have a sneaking suspicion, that the old farmhand is not just a regular farmhand, but to what extent has always been a mystery. Wait, before we go find him, I'll be right back. I just remembered something I'd like to go get. They dart off in the direction of their home, disappearing around a hill at top speed. After a few minutes, a slightly out-of-breath Fantasia returns with a curious book in hand. I remember seeing Lilia reading this excitedly while preparing for the festival. I feel like it's connected somehow, so I got it from her room just now. Now let's go pay the old farmhand a visit. Maybe we'll get some answers out of him. Fantasia gives Lilia a lingering, worried look before following you in the direction of the tavern. The walk there is quick. You notice that the embers are still glowing in the air all around them. The innkeeper gives you directions to the farmhand's room, and you take the stairs up to an oaken door. Fantasia takes a deep breath and knocks on the door expectantly. Immediately from within the room, you hear some crashing sounds and then an odd ruffling. After a few moments of awkward silence, the door creaks open a small degree and you see a swish of a beard and blue eyes checking for who's knocking. Oh, World Hopper. Fantasia, too. What brings the two of you here on an unannounced visit to my humble abode? I would like to request any information you might have on what happened to Lilia at the festival. I've never seen anything like it before, and she's stuck like that currently. I'm sure you can see why this is an emergency. Fantasia looks the old farmhand in the eye, pressuring him noticeably. The old farmhand shuffles slightly in his robes, looking vaguely fidgety. I'm not entirely sure why I specifically would have information on this event, but I do wish to help where I can. Do you know where Lilia came up with the dance and festival idea? Specifically those movements? I may have possibly seen them somewhere before. She told me she read about it in a book. She was reading this book and drew inspiration from it for the festival. The old farmhand takes the book and flips through it page by page. So this is Ingi's manifestation. Where's the other half, Ingi's renewal? I believe that the movements in Lilia's dancing hearken to the first book. Perhaps your answers lie in the second. Alas, it is not in my possession. I think Lilia only has the first one. Do you know who might have Ingi's renewal? If it's a fairy tale book, maybe the library? Unfortunately, these books are rather rare, especially Ingi's renewal. Most would consider them antiques or collector's relics. I'm not sure where Lilia got her book from, but if she doesn't have the second one, you may need to travel out of town to find it. Fantasia deflates in agitation at this news. You quickly ask a question. Where would we need to travel? That answer varies. There are a small number of individuals I can think of who may collect books of this kind. Let me think. If considering ease of travel, I would suggest visiting Peddler's Port. A collector should live there. Agnes, I believe is what she calls herself nowadays. The port? Thank goodness. I was afraid you were going to say that we needed to go on a long journey to a faraway land which would take years and require us to kill a dragon and just... Sorry, my mind went off on a stress tangent, but what I mean to say is that Lilia can't wait that long, so I'm glad it's the port. I agree, we should get going then. Looks like it's settled then. While you youngsters are away, I'll be sure to keep an eye out for Lilia. Thank you. If anything were to happen to her, Not to worry, young Fantasia. From my years of experience, I'd say that she'll be just fine. Head to Peddler's Port with Fantasia. Okay. Alright, here we go. Traveling to Peddler's Port. I think we need to find Agnes. You and Fantasia waste no time in setting off, stopping only briefly by the tavern kitchen for some wrapped bread. Traveling by night, you manage to hail a carriage full of peddlers on their way to the port. Fantasia is quiet nearly the whole time, worry keeping their thoughts occupied. Leaving Louise Hill, you notice that there are no embers. They appear to have only congregated in the town and nowhere else. As the sun tentatively reaches out with a warm dawn glow, the carriage arrives at the bustling Peddler's Port, its colorful flags rippling in the morning breeze. I know where to find Agnes. Thank you. It's been years since I've been here. I'm not sure if I'd recognize how to find anything now. The port is a place of frequent change. You lead Fantasia to the familiar clearing with Agnes and her family's lavish goods display. Agnes is seated in an old rocking chair, dozing off in the morning sunlight with a half-finished length of knitting in her hands and a cup of coffee next to her. Let's clear our throat. I don't want to startle her. Oh, good morning. Please excuse my dozing. I've always had a difficult time getting up at dawn. I see you brought a friend. Hello there. Hello, Agnes. I heard about how to find you from an old farmhand living in Louise Hill. We're here to find a book, Igny's Renewal. Fantasia quickly explains the festival and Lilia's situation as clearly as they can. Agnes listens intently. Oh dear, Louise Hill, you say? Quite a peaceful old farming town normally. It sounds like a rather unfortunate magical pickle she's gotten herself into. I'll certainly try to help if I can. Pie? Oren? A moment passes and a slightly sleepy-looking Pie pokes their head out from a nearby tent. What's happened? It's so early in the morning. Agnes and Fantasia explain the situation to Pie, and they tilt their head, perusing their thoughts. An odd magical event. I'll need to look through my stored wares. Occasionally I find things during my travels unsuitable for sale. This book, it sounds familiar. I'll be back later. Pie swiftly disappears around the corner, walking with great purpose. Oren arrives in the clearing soon after Pie's departure, a slice of toasted jam bread in his hand. Describe the festival events to Oren. Wow, that sounds pretty crazy. So she's just frozen like that still? Oh boy, you must be worried. You know, now that you mention it, these embers sound like a phenomenon I've heard about before. Where was it? Ah, it was a different town, quite far away from here. Required a rough stretch of climbing as well. People said that it had floating embers just like what you were describing. Or at least I think they did, seasonally or something. I never heard about any festivals there ending in someone getting stuck in a ball of light, though. Did that town have a similar festival? Was it anything like this? They show Oren the book, flipping to the description of the deity and the fire dance. Ingi's manifestation, huh? Interesting. Ingi is a deity of summer. I think it's said that she's a deity of life, vibrancy, and rebirth. I can see why a town might celebrate her during the month she's in power. Before Fantasia can ask any more questions, Pie re-emerges from around the corner, carrying an ornate book with a similar design to Ingi's manifestation. Here it is, I found it. First edition of Ingi's Renewal. I'll need a treasure of yours as payment for it, though. Such is the way of business. Hi, my dear. Sometimes I wonder if you've been taught the ways of business too well. I understand. It's only to be expected. I'm not sure if I have anything you would value, however. Well, what about you, World Hopper? I'm sure you're rather well-traveled. Help Fantasia acquire the book by giving Pie a treasured item in exchange. Let me look through my treasures. Oh no. Oh my gosh, we don't have any of these items. I have a bunch of these items, but they're in my wardrobe already. I am actually wondering if I maybe have a way to alchemize some of these. So I'll just say I'll be back soon. And I will try to find one of these items to give. With that, I think we'll leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I honestly wasn't expecting this summer festivities to turn into a full-blown quest like this, but I actually really appreciate that. This game, if there's one thing it does well, it's excellent storytelling. So I'm very excited that we're kind of getting an extra seasonal quest on top of the seasonal event. So I will pick up here in the next episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Please leave in the comments down below how you felt about this event, and if you're excited to continue on this seasonal quest. I'll see you all again soon. Have a good one. Bye.